This is Season 2, Episode 39 of the Out of the Minds podcast. I'm Sean Oakley.
And I'm Sam Cooper, and we have an Initiative 1 brawl with extras.
Yeah. We both completely separately decided we didn't want to do what we said we would last week and just have another mirror match, so we brought different lists. So I'll jump into mine. It's another variation of the Nationals list I was flying. And basically what I've done with this list is just traded out the 3 bombardment drones for 3 other 3-point hyenas. So you still have all the efficiency of the 5 health behind 2 greens, the calculate sharing. So I've still got Sunfac with the Sunfac loadout. I've still got the 2 Geonosian prototypes with Kraken and Sync Laser and Shells. And then I've got DBS 404, who obviously, when he's range 1, rolls an extra dice and crits himself. But I wanted to make him more of a threat at longer ranges as well. So he has plasma torpedoes and energy shells. So nice, take a lock, knock off a shield, or just have to calculate, shells be good. But to go alongside him, I've got the 2 I-1 Bactoid prototypes. Now the interesting thing about this is the Bactoid ability, which is basically if a friendly ship with the network calculations ability has a target lock on an enemy ship, you can ignore the focus lock or calculate requirement for that munition. And this comes in handy because I've put prockets on them.
Oh, baby.
So basically, so long as one of the 3 hyenas has a lock on the ship that's in my bullseye, I can fire that procket. The beauty is, with Kraken, if I've got to calculate, I can lock someone in my bullseye. And considering I'm flying against a lot of I-1, they could be staying there.
Yeah. For all you know, you could be flying. You could be the ace.
And then I've effectively got let's call it a 1.5 modded procket. It's not quite lock focus, but lock calculate, still nice. I've also got energy shell charges so that I'm a threat at longer ranges. And then I've got 2 points left, and they have a sensor slot, so they get fire control system, so might not even have to spend the lock, which is nice. And I've got 2 of those. So, yeah, it's just an interesting... It's not Prox Mines, but it's a lot bigger Alpha Strike, and it's hard to, I suppose, range control them. Sure, you can arc dodge, but the only place you're not taking a nasty shot, really, is range 1, not in the bullseye. And that's still 3 dice.
Yeah. And with Sunfac, you can quite happily put someone in the bullseye.
Yes, exactly.
But over to my list. So I have shifted up a very little bit. I still have a Geonosian prototype with Shells and Kraken. I still have 5 Vultures, all with Shells, DFS 311, 2 Howard Charles, and 2 Trade Federation drones. And then I had 7 points left over, and obviously normally that is Cat Bane and another gunship. But I took him out, took out the gunship, and added Darth Maul with Malice, Hate, Chancellor Palpatine, and the Scimitar title. And I'll admit, Sean, basically right up until I decided to send you, Darth Maul was Aura Singh, and arguably that's better. But then I looked at the Infiltrator and I was like, I want to run this. It's one of my favourite ships.
That's fair. That's fair.
And you know what? A 7-ship swarm is still quite a lot of stuff.
Yeah. So we are playing Scramble. And Sam is first player. And you go interesting.
And I set up the objective as close to your deployment as possible in the dead center. I said, yeah. Because I'm like, you know what? Fine, you can have it quick, but I reckon there'll be a rock nearby, and if a vulture makes it through the massive engagement, it's a little awkward for you to get back.
Yeah.
It's always slightly awkward to get back and take it. And all I need to do is get a vulture through, claim the objective, and it's probably mine.
Yeah. Now, the funny thing is, I am denied about just doing the exact same thing to you. Because I was like, I don't know if I win this joust, but it's not as clear cut as it could be. You've got more ships, but I've got a bigger range threat. Like, if we
Yeah.
jump into range 1, I think that favours me.
Yeah.
Particularly if Sunfac's there doing Sunfac things. I also have the fact that while you can double tap at I5, requires a considerable force to do so, and I've still got Sunfac and 404 shooting before your droids, and if I'm first player, I've got 4 shots coming in before your droids shoot.
Yeah. Well, I guess the interesting is that because I have a bunch of I1 vultures, 4 out of 6 of your list will shoot before the droids get a chance to shoot.
Yeah.
Like, sure, you're probably not. The Geonosian prototype is probably going to get to shoot on the turn it dies, because I feel like chances are it died at I2 just with the number of ships.
Yeah.
But the vultures, like, unless it's the Bactoids doing the killing, they're not going to get to shoot if you get it all.
Yeah. But I chicken out of that, and I opt into putting it on the left-hand side as close up as I can. Basically thinking, tag mine, head into the centre, turn towards that one.
Yeah, and so we got the objectives, making a nice, like, 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Rocks is a bit interesting because we both have stabilizers and struts. But my thought process is I have a large base, so I'm quite happy for there to be rocks near objectives, but I'd like big gaps. So I put my first Pride of Mandalore rock basically to your left-hand side, my right, as far into the corner as I can, well out of the way.
Yeah. And then I make a mistake because I put the large Pride of Mandalore debris close to the one on my bottom edge, thinking, oh, maybe I stick a droid on there. Actually, I'm not going to be sticking droids on places because I don't have vultures. Mine aren't. I don't have the number of ships to just leave one there.
Yeah.
What I should have done was put it up closer to the centre so you couldn't put one there.
Yeah. And then the remaining 4 rocks essentially get spread across my side of the board. Almost like basically a bit of like we've always made a smiley face with rocks.
Yeah.
There's like one in my bottom right hand corner, and then there's like a decent gap, then there's the large rock, and then a decent gap, then the large rock, then the large debris.
Yeah, like I stuck that large debris down last because I didn't want you to be able to easily get your swarm in from both sides.
Yeah. Which is interesting. But what I have semi-accomplished what I wanted. Like, there's a lot of space in the middle, so Maul can fit in there nicely. Like, he's not stuck going down a channel if I don't want him to.
Yeah.
And when it comes to setup, I'm first player, so all of my vultures go, and basically I set them up facing along my board edge to the right, and trying to bait Sean and think like, hey, I might be going to the objective that you placed on my far right. So I basically the first row is on the center, facing to my right, and I set up 5 vultures, like sets of 2, for going behind them. So I basically have my usual column facing along my board edge with a gap for the gunship to go in.
Yeah, and your plan works, and it shouldn't have. Because I should have paid more attention. What I do is I set up the 2 Bactoids to the right of the centre debris, where they just slowly move up, clean the one near my edge. My plan is head towards the centre and then turn in and head towards the other one. And spoilers, there's a crucial bump coming up. Sam, if you look at it, look at the minuscule fraction that the Bactoids are closer. But anyway. What I should have done here was set up on the left-hand side. Set everything up on the left-hand side, because if you choose to do your normal shoot down, fine. We effectively have
a slightly delayed joust.
Which, quite frankly, with these lists is probably what's going to happen anyway. And who comes off better, I think realistically, comes down to who goes second that turn and is more likely to get the locks.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, by doing that, I could have left Sunfac down near the bottom one, because it would be quite hard for you to turn everything in and across fast enough to cause serious issues to him before I can claim it and shoot off down the board edge. And if you do, you've shot through, and then it's awkward for you to turn around to anything else.
Yeah.
By setting up on the left, I can go up to the centre, get that, and if we joust up there, fine, we joust up there, we're ignoring the other two objectives. Or you end up putting Maul there to go and fish those, but that kind of puts Maul out the fight. Fine.
Yeah, no, that's 7 points, not doing anything.
Exactly. And then I'm turning in and heading towards the majority instead of heading away from them.
Yeah.
But I don't do that. So
yeah, and then my gunship basically joins my formation. Your gunships sit behind your Bactoids.
Yeah. I put 404 out on the right a little bit. Basically just below the debris that's on the right, because I wasn't sure where Maul was going to go. And I was like, if he sticks Maul on his left to kind of gun down, thinking I'm going in centre and come in behind, because with that decloak, that infiltrator can move quite fast.
Yes.
So my thoughts there was, what I can do is I can... 404 basically has the opportunity to barrel roll either side of the debris, depending on where you go. And if you put Maul there and come towards me, then he can stay there and the others can turn towards him.
Yeah. So when I saw you put 404 down there, I was like, okay, Maul right on the other side. So I fling Maul right on the far right. Because basically I was going to avoid wherever you put 404, because had I put Maul opposite 404, you could just slap Sun Fac down next to 404, and then it's Sun Fac and DBS versus Maul, and I would just lose that.
Yeah.
Even though you're probably not getting max efficiency out of a plasma torpedo, you can very easily do like 7 damage to me, and I'll do 2 to 3. Like if I'm really lucky, maybe 2 to each of you, because I'd probably double tap at that point.
Yeah.
So no, avoid that. Far right, cloak. He's set up going towards the far right objective, and he can take it. He can contest. Like if Sun Fac wants to 1v1 Maul, honestly, I take that.
Yeah.
Like in the trade, I should at least plink some damage off, and then that makes you vulnerable to like vultures.
Yeah, yeah.
And Sun Fac shouldn't be able to kill Maul in like 1 to 2 turns.
No, of course. So I set Sun Fac up just to the left of my block, facing left along my board edge, because basically I'm going to see what Sam does with Maul, and while I don't think I can do much against him, if I can call it right and nip into the side of him, I can just start chucking 3 dice into him. So yeah. Yeah. Let's get into it.
We get into it. So I start doing 2 hards. So my entire droid swarm does a 2 hard to the left, and they all the vultures barrel roll, and 3 of them link it into a calculate to basically set up for Kraken. Because I'm thinking there shouldn't be shooting round 1. And what this turn and barrel sets up is 2 of my vultures will be able to go straight onto a big rock, and the other 3 will 2 will go around the right side, the other one will go could go up the left side. Yeah. And so I basically set up facing down the center, hopefully should be able to catch you in 1 to 2 turns.
Yeah. Whereas I just 1 straight and calculate with both my droids, with both my Bactoids, because I want to bank some calculates like you. And also the fact that because you've done those 2 hards, I know it's likely that you're going onto the rock next turn.
Yeah.
Which means you're not likely coming fast. So I'm like, well, maybe I can go a bit slower, stay out of range, and then we can jump in when I know I can guarantee locks even if I'm first player.
Yeah. So then my gunship does a 2 hard and barrel rolls to the right and gets a stress, basically to rejoin the formation.
And both mine 1 straight and calculate. DBS does a 1 straight, and I barrel roll in towards my droids because no one else is on the left.
Maul does a 4 straight, and he just target locks a rock. I only did it because it's in my IRL habit of, if I've got nothing else to do, I'll target lock a rock so that my ship's target lock is there and easy to reach on the table.
That's fair.
That's literally the only reason I did that, because I'm pretty confident that Maul's not getting shot or doing any shit. Well, I know he's not doing any shooting, he's cloaked, but...
Yeah. I do a 1 bank with Sun Fac, which basically points me at a rock. But I've got loads of distance. My plan is the next turn is to just sidle up to that rock, see where Maul's gone, barrel roll the right side of it. But I take a tractor just so I can rotate my turret to the left because, to the front, because I think the next turn I'm going to want it in one of my sides, depending on where you go.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So DFS passes a calculate to my gunship because obviously I couldn't have. I needed to barrel roll, so he couldn't calculate, and I want the gunship to keep a calculate. So happy days. I've got 3 ships with calculates. They keep their calculates.
I keep my calculates on my 2 Bactoid. On my 2 HMPs and the green Bactoid. And this is actually a small mistake because what I should have done was kept it on both the Bactoids.
Yeah,
because they want to take a target lock to get their abilities off.
Arguably, all 3 of the hyenas are the ones you want to keep the calculates on.
Yeah,
because
obviously DBS didn't have one that turn because he barrel rolled.
Yeah, true.
But I should have kept him on those and then just on the blue Geonosian because he's the one likely claiming the objective next turn.
Yeah.
But yeah.
On to the next one. And yeah, it's very simple. We had a very stately start and then it very rapidly increased in craziness after a couple of turns. Because I'm not doing anything insane. You win first player.
I win first player. And I jump a 2 straight. Basically, because I needed to go fast enough that if I need to hard turn round the debris on my left next turn, I can. So I 2 straight and I calculate with yellow, and I 2 straight and I calculate with green because there's no way I'm in range for a lock.
Yeah. So my leftmost Howachal, I could have gone straight and claimed the center, but I didn't know what you were going to be doing. So I just 1 hard to the left, getting out of the way of my gunship because I didn't actually want to 2 straight because I thought the angle that we were fighting is that I might end up with just that 1 vulture in range of you, and then you're basically taking a fight 2v1, 2v1, 2v1. So
I think you would have been right as well. Yeah.
So basically he's setting up to come around on the inverted commas flank, which is a little awkward, but he gets he can easily come around and join the fight. The rest of my vultures all do 2 straights. The front vulture lands on the rock and experimentally takes a target lock just to see if we're going to be shooting this turn, and you are just out of range, so I lock another rock. And then the rest of the vultures 2 straight and calculate. DFS 311 and under Howachal are on a rock, and then the 2 Trade Federations are to the right of it with 2 calculates. The last Howachal is to the left and facing away with a calculate.
Yeah. Blue does a 1 straight, the HMP, and claims the back objective, and a 2 straight, and pink does a 2 straight and nabs a calculate.
My gunship just does a 1 straight and nabs a calculate.
404 does a 3 straight just to bring him up a little bit and calculates.
Maul does a 2 bank to the left, still cloaked, and claims the far right objective.
And Sunfac does a 2 straight, puts him in front of the rock. Now this is interesting because I'm like, Maul looks like he just wants to turn into the centre and start shooting things. So what I do is I take a tractor, I rotate my turret to the right, and I barrel roll to the left because I'm trying to sort of bait, but also not either you now come after Sunfac down that corner and you're turning away from the rest of my ships, or Sunfac comes up behind you.
Yeah. So interestingly, because I think you barreled forwards there.
I did barrel roll forwards.
And knowing what I know from your next moves, I think a barrel backwards would have served you very nicely.
It would have. The issue is, when I did this, my plan was a 3 bank or a fast straight.
Right. Yeah.
Because I thought if you decloak to the right and then just do a 1 or 2 bank, I want to try and get past you.
Yes, that makes sense.
Yes, if I had known exactly what I was going to do in the next turn, yes, backwards would have served me incredibly well. But that's the power of hindsight. And there's no shooting again.
There's no shooting. We both score a point. Round 2 and no shooting. This is actually foreign.
It doesn't often happen, does it?
It's actually insane for me. So DFS 311 keeps a calculate. My gunship keeps a calculate, and the Howachal, who's on his merry little flanky journey, keeps a calculate because I have a plan for him.
Yeah. I play properly this turn and keep a calculate on all 3 of my hyenas. And I'm first player.
Your first player, round 3, Darth Maul, decloaks straight forwards.
So my baiting plan hasn't worked, but
I wanted to. I thought about going right, but I was just looking. Like, I'm not sure I can land it because the table edge is right there. And whilst I thought maybe I could do it if I go forward, if it fails, it's a disaster. Maul is sitting there cloaked in the middle of the board doing nothing. So I said, okay, we'll take the guaranteed, decloak straight, and then I'm turning in to the center. Like, there's not really anywhere else I can go.
Petrified of a 5k here.
I thought I'd be on the debris if I did that.
That's fair. I think it's close, but
it is close. But again, I also thought that Sunfac might be screaming around the back, and I was like, that's fine. We can leave Sunfac to scream around the back. I want to kill droids.
Yeah. So it goes to my ones, and I do a 2-bank with yellow, and I claim the center, and I do a 2-bank with green, which bumps, and it must have been damn close because the HMPs would have got through, but just not quite close enough, which is a bummer because I really needed him to take a target lock.
Yeah, because you needed a lock for the proton rockets and the gunships.
I wonder if... Yeah, I don't think it would have made a difference which way round I did it, but it is what it is. And I take a damage.
Yeah. So I then start moving all my vultures. So my Howard Shell on the rock, 2 straights off the rock. Then I barrel roll to the right and link it to a calculate. My 2 Trade Federation drones, 2-bank around the rock to the left. One of them barrels and takes a calculate because I don't want to repeat what you just did, and I'm unsure I would make it properly because they're quite close behind each other. And the front one takes a calculate, and the back one 2-banks around the rock and claims the center from you. Then my final Howard Charles does a 3-bank to the right, looping around the back, and takes a target lock on DBS 404, and DFS 311 stays on the back rock and takes a calculate.
Yeah. So my pink HMP does a 1 straight, reaches for a target lock, and I opt to lock Maul. Basically, because I know he's going to come in and I want to try and get some mods on him. Yeah. Blue does exactly the same, and I shouldn't have done that. I should have locked someone else. Anyone else.
So when you double locked me, I was like, okay, that's interesting. Because realistically, I'm not going to be in your gunship's front arcs. So you're 2 dice pea shootering, and when you have synced lasers and shells, I honestly thought you'd at least want to fire the shells before you started really going onto Maul.
Yeah. The thing is, I know what Sunfac's doing this turn.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
I thought I had an opportunity to put a 4 dice hammer into him, followed up by the pea shooters, and I thought there was every chance that 404's arc might swing around enough to catch him as well.
Yeah.
So I lock.
My gunship just does a 1 straight and takes a target lock. Turns out I have both Bactoids and your Kraken carrier, so I lock your Kraken carrier, basically just banking a target lock for later. We'll see how it goes, because I have a different plan of what I want to do with his shell.
Yeah. I 2-bank 404, and I opt to take a lock onto the red Vulture, the Tray Fed, because I'm pretty sure I've got a Procket lined up on him.
Yeah, he's in the bullseye of one of your Bactoids, and I'm like, oh boy. So Maul does a 2-bank to the left. I take a target lock on the Bactoid that has the Procket lined up, because I'm thinking if I can just put a bunch of damage into you, and then I've got my gunship there as well, like maybe I can force you to spend the calculate, at least get even less modded.
Yeah. Sunfac does a 1 hard in the end, because I figured if I land just behind the rock, and by millimeters, the rock is just coming past my nubs. I thought I'd be a fraction further back, so that if you'd come around the back, I could boost in front of it. And if you'd done what you did, I'm sat in your side. And you're right, that last turn, if I barrel rolled backwards, literally would have been there in happy days. And it would have been perfect. Wasn't thinking of it at the time. It was a decision I made in the planning phase. Which is a real shame, because, boosting forward would have been so nice. But no cigar. So I take a tractor, I rotate the turret to the left, to the front, sorry, and barrel roll to the right because otherwise I'm going over the rock the next turn. And then I take a focus. I can't pass off the tractor, and I just shoot range 2 into Maul. I get focus blank. I don't spend it because I'm not sure if I'm in yellow's arc, and I don't want to risk you lobbing a shell at Sunfac with no focus and a tractor.
Yeah, that's fair. So Maul shoots range 2 into your yellow Bactoid prototype. I end up with 2 hits and a blank, and I spend the lock blank into blank, and then I malice for a hit crit.
I roll 1 evade and take a damaged engine.
And then I spend 2 force and shoot your other Bactoid prototype, and I roll crit blank blank.
I roll focus blank, so I spend his calculate for an evade. Then it's 404. And I opt to lob a shell. Who do I lob the shell into in the end? I lob the shell into someone. We'll find out in a second.
It's the green vulture, I believe.
It's the green vulture. I roll hit, focus, so I spend my calculate for hit crit. And I spend yellow's calculate for hit, crit.
I roll evade blank, so I take hit crit onto the green Howard Charles, and that is a blinded pilot. A little bit awkward.
Then it's my 2s. And I start shooting out the side into Maul. It's range 2. I roll crit blank. I reroll into blank, so single crit.
I roll an evade, so dodge it, and then I spend a force to stress you.
Blue does the same. Rolls focus, re-rolls into focus blank.
And so a bit whiffy on the attacks so far. I think a little bit unfortunate with the gunships there.
Yeah.
So then my gunship shoots into the yellow Bactoid, I believe.
Yeah, I think you lob the shell into him, yeah.
Yeah, I lob the shell. I roll hit focus crit. I spend my calculate for hit crit.
And I roll 2 evades.
So dodged.
Then we go to the 1s. So I lob a Throcket from yellow into red. It's unmodded, but, still 5 dice.
5 dice is 5 dice.
I roll hit, crit, blank, focus, so 3 out of 5. Pretty average.
And I roll blank evade. The crit is a direct hit, so I die.
But not yet.
Because contrary to many a game I have played, my vulture has died at I1, so we'll get to shoot.
So I go to green and I lob a range 2 shot into.
I think it's my green vulture.
I think it's your green because I've spent calculate, so I can't lob the shell. And there's no lock for the mission, and I roll focus blank, so nothing there.
So then my vulture starts shooting. My Howard Charles on the far left fires the shell into 4. Basically, all my vultures bar 1 fire a shell at 404, and 404 dies in the end. It takes 4 out of 5.
Yeah. Then you go range 1 into yellow with green, I think.
Yeah, I go range 1 into yellow with my blinded pilot Howard Charles. I think I end up putting a crit through. Maybe not.
No, I dodge it.
No, you dodge it. Yeah.
And then I think you do the shell from.
Yeah, that's what DFS 311 puts a single damage onto your Bactoid.
Yeah. So I've lost 404, but I've taken most of your munitions.
Yeah, I have a single shell left in the list. It's on a one health Howard Charles prototype who's got a blinded pilot. So yeah. I've also spent all of the force on Maul, so I only have 1 force next turn. And he's in a bit of an awkward spot. That being said, I'm 2-1 up on objectives, and I've removed one of your ships and only lost 1 vulture.
Yeah. Whereas I'm like, all right, I've got another vulture down to 1 with a blinded pilot, and vultures can die. This is still okay.
Yeah. So I opt for Kraken. I have 4 vultures with calculates. I decide that the 1 health guy probably isn't going to need his calculate into the next round, so he can just I accept his death. I get a force back on Maul, and this is an interesting turn because I have put a stress on your gunship that would block the 5k.
Yes.
Which means the 5k is an option. Now, yes, could you block it with the other gunship in a bit of a weird, You'd have to like turn, like you'd have to like you because he side slips and he barrels in the way.
That's exactly what we'll get to that, but that's exactly what I should have done for more than just blocking the 5k.
Yeah.
But
at that point, I was like, but I think I might just clear the debris, so I accept the damage.
Yeah, sorry. Video's paused a second. I had to run and put the kids to bed. Bit of a awkward.
Happy days.
Right, I'll just speed it up and see if we can wait until the clock starts going. There we go. I'm back. So, I'm first player this turn.
Player.
Big mistake. I do a 3 hard with yellow. I forget that he's got a damaged engine, so I claim the centre objective.
We do catch it later.
But what I should have done was a 2 hard.
Yeah.
Easy, simple. I thought going straight just gets me in the way is the problem. So,
you're probably right.
I do a 2 straight with green.
The other factoid, yeah.
And get a calculate because I'm thinking I can lob a shell into 311.
Makes sense.
And then you.
So, my badly wounded Howard Child does a 2 straight, and at this time, I claim the centre back. When we catch it later, I'll be like, well, I would have just calculated if I didn't have to claim the centre, so he will get a calculate in a bit. DFS 311 stays on his rock and calculates. My Howard Child on the left-hand side does a 2-bang into the centre and takes a calculate because I figured there's probably going to be a gunship in front of me that I can get a free target lock off.
Yep.
My last remaining Trade Federation drone does a 4 straight, lands on the debris, not quite as far enough to claim the back objective, but I'm kind of happy there, and just takes a calculate. No, he takes a target lock because I'm pretty sure he's not shooting, so I want a lock for my gunship to use.
Yeah. So pink does a 2 hard, which bumps, so I take the red calculate, and I side slip with blue, and I think I calculate here. No, I reach for a lock.
You tried to claim.
I tried to claim. That was it. I tried to claim the centre, and I was just out. What I should have done was barrel rolled. Now, yes, we can see Maul's just done a 5k, and it would have blocked perfectly. But
yes,
Maul was either going to do one of 2 things. He was going to 5k, or he was going to turn in towards the centre, because anything else puts you on the debris or bumps you into the droid. Yes. If I barrel rolled, I either block it, great, Maul's stressed and has to go around the back of a debris the next turn. I don't block it, Maul sat in front of me. I mean, all right, we're looking at it and there's no way it doesn't block, but you don't know that at the time. But also, it may have got me out of arc of blue.
Yes, that is true.
Because, all right, I don't think you shoot into blue this turn, but we don't know that at that point, and he has no mods because he tried to claim. If I barrel rolled, it just gets me out, probably puts me into range 2, not range 1, and I'm pretty sure he'd fired his shells. I think.
Yeah, he's fired
just green doesn't have it.
It's just my green guy that has a shell, and he will keep that shell until the end of the game.
And so it would have got me out of that. And if Maul had banked in, may well have got out of that arc as well. It was just the better choice.
Yeah.
But that's hindsight.
Yeah, at 5k. I've got 1 force on Maul. I've got a shot into a gunship. Maul's doing happy.
Sunfac does a 3 bank. And I take a tractor, I rotate to the right. Because I'm going to lob it on that tray fed and try and kill that tray fed as well. And I take a focus.
Then we remember that my gunship needs to move, and he does a 1 straight and calculates. Because I explained that my plan had been set out from the beginning. That's why yellow took the lock on the backside, because I knew my gunship was going to 1 straight and have a shot.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Sunfac has something to say about that.
And I think that's, where I ping that I... is it here? Yeah, I screwed up with yellow and give me stress, and we say, what would you have done with green? Because you wouldn't have had to use your action.
Yeah, I would have calculated. And DFS 311 passes one of his calculates over to my gunship.
I lob the tractor over to yellow, and then I throw the 4 dice out the side into him. I roll blank, blank, focus hit. I'm not spending it because I'm not risking you shooting Sunfac.
I roll my single dice and I roll a blank, so I take 1 damage onto yellow. Maul shoots range 1 into your pink Geonosian. I roll focus, blank crit, so I'm my malice for a crit.
I roll a focus, but I'm full health, so I opt to take the 2 shields and keep it. And then it goes to my 2s.
Yes.
And I shoot, I believe, range 1 into the tracted trade fed. Yes, your How Child's going to get a lock, but it literally doesn't matter who I shot.
Yeah, because you're in the bullseye of my How Child, so I take a target lock on you.
I roll hit crit.
I roll an evade and then die.
And then blue goes range 1 into the side of Maul. I roll crit something. I re-roll it because I've got locks into a focus. So crit.
I roll an evade, so I take 1 damage, I gain a force, and then I don't stress you because whilst I could stress you, I think I would rather have 2 force next turn.
Yeah.
Then my gunship shoots range 1 into your green Bactoid. I end up with I roll trail mix, I re-roll a blank into a blank, and then spend a calculate to make it 2 hits.
I roll double blank, so I take 2. Then we go to my 1s.
Yep.
And green lobs a shell into DFS. I roll hits. I roll trail mix. I spend the calculate for hit crit.
I roll blank evade. I take a structural damage on DFS. And your other Bactoid doesn't have a shot, and so my vultures start shooting. I roll. So this was just me being stupid and an idiotic. My blinded pilot Howard Child has a range 2 shot into Sunfac. So I take the range 2 unmoddable shot. I should have fired the shell. It's just an extra dice. And I say out loud, well, here comes the crit, because for some reason in my head, I think this is a range 0 shot, and I roll crit.
I roll 1 evade, so I take a blinded pilot.
My Howard Shah at the back takes the range 1 into your Geonosian pressure type. After the target lock, I end up with 3 hits.
I roll a blank, so I'm down to 3 health.
And then DFS 311 takes a range 2 shot into your green Bactoid, and I roll 2 crits.
I roll 1 evade, so I take 1 crit, and it's a structural damage. And so after points, it is 7-8.
Yes, 7-8 to me. And we both have ships that are bleeding. I think the thing is, your bleeding ships are just worth more than mine.
Yeah.
Because like my gunship is doing fine. Maul is really fine.
Yeah.
Although in a bit of a weird spot for this turn.
Yeah.
And the blinded on Sunvac is just really bad for you. Yeah.
Right. There we go then. Your first player this turn.
Yeah, so my one health Howard Charles does a 3 straight onto the back debris and claims your home objective. DFS 311 does a 2 straight off the rock because I'm pretty sure your green guy is I figured he's either 2King or 1 straighting just to try and claim the center objective, and I take a calculate. My blue Howard Charles does a 1 hard to the right, just trying to get in the middle, and I barrel to the left, trying to block your gunships. Because my plan is I need to block your gunships here so that Maul's bank bumps into you and I don't end up on that debris.
Yeah. I do a 2 straight with the yellow Bactoid because I'm now remembered I'm stressed. And I take a target lock because I need to get some mods out there. And I put the lock onto Maul, and I shouldn't have. I should have put it onto someone else because spread the locks around so at least I'm getting 1 reroll on people.
Yeah. And also, you've already got 2 rerolls with the gunships on Maul. Your chances are you don't need more.
Yeah, exactly. What I should have done was locked pink.
Yeah, pink or blue.
Yeah. I do try the 2K with green, and you bump, so just takes the stress.
My gunship does a 1 straight, and I take a target lock onto Sunvac because you might be in range, and I just like a reroll against you.
Blue stops and flips the stabilizers because I know Maul's got to go forward. And pink does a 1 straight, bumps, and red calculates.
Maul tries a 1 bank to the right, clears the stress after bumping. I think I should have rolled for damage here. I don't think I did. Like, I'm looking at it, there's no way I shouldn't have had to roll for damage.
Nah, it's not the end of the world. What I should have done
I didn't.
here,
I completely missed it, apparently.
what I should have done here was gun forward with the gunship, because the stabilizers were closed. So, and try and jump past, because I actually needed you to swing that arc around, so...
Yeah. Either way, I don't take the red focus, so at least I don't completely cheat, because I'm thinking I need to be unstressed for the next turn so I can just 5k again, basically.
I one hard with Sunfac. I take the tractor, I rotate to the left so I can pass it over to another Fed, because I just need to get rid of stuff. Like, if I can kill it at I6 or I2 before it's shooting me...
Yeah, makes sense.
That's less ships bleeding to dead, basically. And I take a focus.
Yeah.
Because much as I really wanted to repair the blinded pilot, because Maul is range 1 in the bullseye, and at least I'd have a tractor on him, I don't really want to die, so... but we look at it, and it turns out that I have the gunship at range 1 as well, so I opt to pass the tractor to the gunship. I tried to barrel roll you, because I was hoping it would put you into shell range, but no joy. And then I go... Why am I wrong? Oh, I do the bullseye.
Bullseye range 1 into Maul.
And I shouldn't have done this. I should have shot the frigging gunship. Because it would have been the same amount of dice against no greens.
Yes, that's actually right. And you don't have mods anyway, so like the bullseye, like you can't trigger. There's no predator to trigger.
There's no predator to trigger. What was going through my mind at the time was I've got the shot from blue as well.
Yeah,
but actually, it's the same amount of greens. I'm more likely to put the damage through on the gunship because you just don't have any greens. So yeah, that's a mistake. Quite a big one, actually. I end up with hit, focus blank.
I roll a blank on Maul, so I take 2 shields, I get 2 force back, and then I stress you with Palp.
Yep, then you shoot me.
Then I shoot Sunfac back with Maul. I end up with hit, crit, blank. I malice for a 3rd crit.
I end up with 2 blanks and a focus. The gunship is still in arc, so I get a Gravidic, and I roll it into focus. I spend my focus for 2 evades, so 1 crit, which is a loose stabilizer.
Then I spend 2 force. I think this is me shooting range 2 into your green Bactoid.
Yes, I think you're right.
Trying to pick you off before you can kill me.
And you do.
And I think I do get you. Yeah.
So it then goes to my 2s. Blue goes range 1 into Maul. I end up with 3 hits.
I roll an evade, so I take 2 damage down to 5. I get 2 force and I stress you.
And pink fires a shell into 303.
Into 311, you mean?
Into 311, sorry. And gets 3 crits.
I roll a blank, so TFS 311 dies horribly. My gunship then rolls, I think it's range 1 into Sunfac.
Yeah.
I roll hit, focus, crit. I spend a calculator for hit, crit.
And you kill him.
And I kill Sunfac. And at that point, we call it, because I go up to... It's 16-9, and then I score 3 points to the objectives, making it 19-9. And at that point, you can't win.
No, exactly.
And so this was interesting.
Yeah. Like, it was definitely some mistakes. Road was a key component, which it always will be when you're large amounts of matching initiative. Like... The set for me, I think, the setting up too close, and it's fractionally too close, but still too close, followed by the not barrel roll, because there was just almost no downside to it in hindsight.
Yeah.
And I should have put a lock from yellow onto your HMP.
Yeah, HMP or the Vulture or whoever you were planning on tractoring with Sunfac.
Well, now, see, I didn't know that at the time where your HMP would be, but I knew he's coming in. Yeah. But he's always going to be the secondary target, particularly when you fired all the shells, because if I can get rid of Kraken...
Yeah, and all of a sudden my Vultures are a lot easier to kill.
In fact, arguably in this list, he probably should be the primary target.
Yeah. Like, sure, if I hand you Maul on a silver platter, take Maul, but
you and I both know how good Kraken is. If I can take, particularly in your list where you need a lot of calculates, if I can take that out, But no, it was
interesting. I
interesting.
think you got a little robbed with Sunfac, but that's just Sunfac sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes he does that. Sometimes he just murders everything. So, you know, I think this last turn, I very, 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 very nearly just did a 5 straight, and I do wonder whether I should have done that instead of turning into where Maul's probably going to be.
I think probably, yeah. Like maybe Maul still has a shot, but honestly, I think Sunfac wants to be deleting droids, not shooting Maul.
Because 5 straight, I can barrel roll in. I could have tracted somebody, quite even possibly still could have tracted the HMP.
Yeah.
I could have accepted that Sunfac was likely to die, depending on how many shots he's taking, and just claimed the center. I mean,
yeah. Also, like if you're not range 1 of Maul, Maul probably isn't shooting Sunfac in this scenario. At that point, I'm probably just trying to finish off the Bactoids.
If I'm sat in front of 311, who I think had the structural damage, then I repair the blinded pilot, because at least I've got the Predator
Bullseye,
mod then.
Yeah.
There were options. But I think it stems from not having a lock out on that first engagement because I bumped.
Yeah. I mean, also in terms of 5 straight, I think also it's easy to say now, but
of course.
In your plan, there was your Bactoid prototype sat facing back towards me, right?
But to be fair, I was very much 50-50. Yeah, exactly. It was very much facing back towards you. But I was 50-50 still about whether, to do that. So, yeah, it is what it is. But it was a fun game. And, while the end score, we didn't tot up all the points, looks bad.
If this was a tournament, we play the next round, and at that point, you're then playing for points.
It was close right up until this last round. So
yes.
Yeah. And your list is... Every time you fly Darth Maul, it's just really good.
Yeah, I just don't have the guts to actually fly him in real life.
That's fair. Because the one time you do, he'll just bug out.
Well, yeah, because, put it this way, if Sunfac doesn't heavily whiff twice, Maul's down on 2 health.
Yeah, exactly.
Admittedly, in this case, I'm happy with that. Maul has killed a Bactoid. He ends up putting a bunch of damage into Sunfac. He's put some damage into another Bactoid and a Geo. He's just a damage bot.
Yeah, he's done his job.
It's a 7-point sadness when he goes down.
Yeah. All right. Well, we've pretty much gone through all that as we go along. I definitely will put this on the table after STO, I think, and give it some try.
I might try slapping in Aura Sing instead of Maul.
Fair. Bring that next week.
Yeah, I think I will.
Right. Well, on that note of expectation, we'll wrap it up for this week. So I'll just say, see you next week.
Yeah, ta-ta from me.